What's up, guys? Welcome to Operation B, the podcast. I am your host, Jamie Thurber, and I am here to take you on a journey of deepening, of expansion, of understanding more about who you are and why you're here and how to operate in an optimal way that allows you to do what you want to do, feel how you want to feel, take care of yourself truly, and support everything that your heart desires. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Operation B. I am Jamie, your host. Thank you for being here. Wherever you are in the world, please do me a favor and take a big old deep breath with me and release it all out and drop the tension in your shoulders. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go. And breathe it all the way out. That's the kicker. If you take a nice big breath and then you breathe it all the way out, that's what your body wants. Just keep doing that. Anyway, today we're going to free flow here and about a topic. I didn't write anything down. I just felt like this was something that popped into my head this morning and I think would be a valuable conversation to have. It's relevant to things that I've been doing in my own life, but it's also relevant to things I've been doing for a very long time in my business. You hear, and you probably heard, especially if you are in business, you've heard many, many times, time is money, right? People say time is money. And that's not wrong. Time is a very valuable asset, whether we're talking financial exchange for your time, or we're talking the way that you give time to yourself, to your family, to things you care about, to your health, to your home, to whatever. Time is very valuable. It is your most valuable asset, is how you spend your time, what you're willing to put your time towards, and who you allow to take it, really. This is something that if more people respected their own time, they may respect other people's time as well. And I see it happen all the time. And of course, I'm a very observant human, whether I like it or not. That's just something I've kind of trained myself to do. So I notice things about people and then their expectations of others that don't match. And it does tend to be a huge sign that someone is not present, but also that they don't respect their own time. People tend to get very flustered about time or not being respected, and they get a little defensive about certain things. And it's like, what they don't realize is that defensiveness or that feeling of disrespect or whatever it is about their time or their ability is really a reflection of the fact that they don't respect their own time and they don't respect other people's time either. It's hard to respect someone else's time when you don't respect your own. So some examples, like there's a couple people I know who would say things like, if you're not 15 minutes early, then you're late, but then would show up 15 minutes late or more to like every single meeting, or interrupt people in the middle of talking in the middle of a meeting, or get up and walk away, or schedule meetings and not be respectful of whomever they're meeting with's time. If they say they have an hour, they have an hour. If they say they have 30 minutes, they have 30 minutes, and vice versa, but then that same person would get upset if somebody's a couple minutes behind to meet with them. And it's like, makes my head spin a little bit because none of that makes any sense. What that is it's a sign of chaos. It's a sign of a lack of understanding, really, I think, of what it is that we truly expect of others, right? So what it is that we truly require for us to feel whatever sort of way it is. Well, one of the things that comes around time is that your value and the way that you feel around how valuable you are is no one else's responsibility but yours. Because if you're in a situation or you're around people who make you feel as though you're not valuable, then you have to ask yourself, why are you continuing to be around those people? Or why are you not speaking up to change the situation in a way that can create whatever it is that you think you're lacking? The other side of that, though, is that we have to learn, and this is not easy because I'm still going through it. I've drastically different than I was even 6 months ago about this, but we have to learn that our validity as a human, being valid, being validated, being of value, does not come from how much we do or don't do. It does not come from anyone else's opinion of us. It really truly comes from our own opinion of ourselves and our own way that we show up and our own way that we choose to operate. So when we go back to the concept of time is money, time is value. Someone gives me their time, I take that very, very seriously. If someone requests my time, I expect them to take it very, very seriously. And what do I mean when I say very, very seriously? I mean that I am on time or communicate if I'm not going to be, because I'm not always perfect at being on time. I am able to stay on task. Often I'm the one who's keeping conversations on task, and that's not fun for me, to be honest. Like, it's not fun to have to be the one who interrupts the like, haha, jolly joke session to say like, and we're supposed to be accomplishing something in this meeting. I need answers to XYZ thing, right? Like, that's not fun either. I also believe that a lot of time can be saved if people are willing to communicate very clearly, whether that's in an email or text or in a quick phone call. There's no need for fluff most of the time. If we're being kind and respectful, we don't need to fill it with anything else. It's a matter of saying, I have these 3 questions. Do you have 10 minutes? You get on the phone, you ask your 3 questions, and then you're done and you go on with your day, right? Like, this is not only a respect to other human beings' time, which is their money and their value and your own, but it's also the way that we are able to hack how productive we are and how much energy it takes from us. So when we think about productivity, and everybody who's been here for a long time knows that this is where a lot of this conversation began, was in the concept of being productive. How productive can we be as individuals, business owners, whatever, to make us the most, let's be real, it was always to make as much money as possible or have as much space as we needed or wanted. So for me, it's a lot of times it's been both. Like, it's been to pay my bills, and it's been to have the time freedom necessary to do what I want when I want to. Even if sometimes that what I want to do is work, right? So, but with that, the part that we miss, I think, often is that the productivity piece doesn't mean we have to work ourselves to the bone. Actually, it's the opposite. The idea of superhuman productive, when I used to talk about it, the idea of Operation Do always really was about getting things done in a timely fashion, an efficient fashion, so that we didn't have to spin ourselves in circles to accomplish what we needed to accomplish for the day, or so we weren't wasting time on unimportant things, which feeds into this topic too. Did it get misconstrued a bit into a place of like constantly being productive from sunup till sundown? Yes. Did that get created because those were the amount of responsibilities that were on my plate? Yes. And this conversation around respecting time of our own and of other people's is honestly one of the biggest hacks to productivity you can look for. It's being present in rooms when you're in them. When you're present in a room, the amount of time that is spent in that room is so much more productive. You can get so much more done in a 15-minute window than you can in a multiple hour window or whatever it is. I think we have to learn to be able to, in a way, compartmentalize, especially during our work days, how we're spending our time. And what I mean by that is, if you want to have a friendly conversation with someone, like, go to lunch. Don't have a business meeting. That's not the time to catch up on those things. You know, that kind of stuff. And it's hard. Like, I would love to be able to spend lots and lots of hours talking to my friends all the time like I was or used to. The truth is that it was hurting me. It was hurting me because that output was emotional and it was draining, not because they were doing anything wrong, but because it was draining. And it was me that was allowing that to happen. When we're not policing our own export of energy and words and output, this is what happens. We wind up very drained, and that's what leads to burnout, because we're doing all those things to make ourselves feel like a valid and valuable human being. Burnout, because that is not something that you're ever able to meet. simply by thinking you're doing enough, because it's a never ending cycle of, well, did they approve? Did they like? Did they this? Did they that? Did I do enough? Does everybody see me? Blah, blah, blah. That's exhausting all by itself, right? So what do? We have to work on catching ourselves in moments where we're looking outside of self for validation. It always comes back to this, guys, where we're looking for someone else to tell us that we did enough, that we're good enough. When we're looking for someone or something else to tell us what to go or what to do and where to go, we're not in control of ourselves in those moments. When we are adult, sovereign humans, do you know what that means? When you're a sovereign human, that means that you are governing yourself. That means that nothing is transpiring here without your permission. That means you're not being pulled into a conference room or pulled into someone's conversation or pulled in the direction of the feeling that you had that happened 12 years ago that made you blah, blah, blah. Do these things happen because we're humans? Yes. But what our goal is to maintain them as much as possible and get to make the conscious decision, conscious meaning in the now decision, to jump into that conference room or to answer that phone call or to let ourselves sit with said trigger from, XYZ thing that happened however many years ago. When we're making the choice to do that, that's sovereign. When we're making the choice to say yes or no and not explain because we don't have to explain ourselves, that's sovereign. When we're making the choice to believe and act and live in a way that our time is precious and our time is of value, that's sovereign. When we're choosing to see that someone else that gives us their time is a value, that's sovereign. Like, I respect my clients' time as much as I expect them to respect my time, and they're paying me for my time. I'm not paying them for their time, but I respect their time just as much because it's important to me, and I don't have relationships with clients that don't respect my time. I've done that before. I've done that song and dance where calls go on for 3 hours and they call in the middle of the night and they can't make a decision without asking me a question. I've done that, and it's not healthy for anyone. I think every coach kind of goes through those, has a few of those relationships or goes through those things sometimes. And really, the difference there, though, is that person's not trusting and respecting themselves. So there's a time and a place during certain aspects of our work together where, it's understandable, but that still doesn't mean that I allow it to go on forever. So because I want to teach my clients to be sovereign humans, I want to teach my clients to not spin out every time something happens. That's the goal. And so that is why the work that I do with people is so intense and and personalized and long term. But the other aspect of that is the fact that we as humans have to be willing to accept that that's something we have control over. We have control over how we spend our time, right? So yes, you know what? We have parents that need us. We have spouses that need us. We have children that need us. We can still put into practice respect. Respect your child's time as much as you expect them to respect your time. That's how you teach them to grow up this way, to where they don't have to relearn this shit when they're 40 years old, right? You teach your parents, unless it's an emergency, to respect your time. Just because they're retired doesn't mean that you are. That doesn't mean you love them less. That means that you answer them and give them attention. Here's the deal. The time is money concept, the concept of all of your time being valuable, is a gift. Because when I tell my mom, I'll call you when I'm finished with my day, and I call her in the car a lot, because in the car, I'm not distracted. It's me and her, and I can talk and not be distracted by my phone or by other needs or other things I'm supposed to be doing. I'm able to be in those moments with her and talking with her, right? I do that on purpose with everyone, because if I'm not able to stay present and give you the attention and energy that you deserve, I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to text you back until I have the space and the time to give you what you need, to give you what feels good to me to give you. So that's the difference. I think we often forget that like it is okay for us to decide that we're going to interact with people differently based on what makes us feel really good to give them so that they feel really good. It's a win-win when we choose to respect other people's time and needs and value, because it means we're respecting our own. So I'm going to leave it at that today, guys. That's a shorter episode for us, but I think I covered what I wanted to. I want you to let that sink in. As always, share this with someone. Please give this episode over to someone that you think could benefit from it. If you share it on social media, make sure that you tag us. Make sure that you let us know how you feel about it in reviews, or you can send us an email. My email address is linked below. And I'd love to hear what you're thinking about our guest interviews so far. Give me some feedback. Let me know if you're liking them. If you're missing more of our shorter one-on-one conversations, I want to know that too, because my purpose here is to provide things that are helping people, and I want to do that as much as possible. So your feedback is really the only way for me to know that. So I really appreciate you wherever you are. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to Operation B, the podcast. To support this message and to support the show, please make sure that you like, follow, and share the podcast wherever you enjoy listening. And be sure to leave us a review on iTunes. Thank you for being here, and see you next time.